How we doing, folks? This is Mike, and I'm joined by Mike. Well, if you're on Spotify, it doesn't matter. Mike, your shirt's off.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everyone.
Just any big occasion, or is it just shirtless, delusional Cowboy Mike today?
You could say that. Laundry is pretty due,
Sure.
but feeling comfortable getting in the routine of this thing. And I was like, let's get comfortable tonight.
Yeah, two different vibes that came straight from work. I think you came straight from a dinner with your mom, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the correlation does with no shirt on. Maybe you were also wearing a comfortable one, and you were like, "Fuck this," or
No, I was wearing a t-shirt and I
no?
ripped it off and threw
Yeah,
on some comfortable shorts. And I was like, the people need to see the full experience of this podcast.
sure. There we go. And you guys know the drill. I mean, we'll go through bets today. We'll hit games. We'll keep it pretty random. These ones will be quicker. Mike, I actually want to start here. You have your shirt off, and I wanted some dramatic effects with that big wardrobe change. So maybe what's your lock of the week this week? Show me some energy.
Lock of the week. 2-0. Haven't missed one. A lot of pressure here to see who's going to fuck up first.
Mm-hmm.
My lock of the week. Let me just pull it up to make sure I got the spread correctly. Pittsburgh Steelers -1.5 against the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers.
My God, you picked the Steelers. You picked it. Do you know
Mike
what the over-under
Tomlin,
is in that game?
35.5.
35.5. The lowest I've ever seen in an NFL game. There's been Iowa football games this year that have been more.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, everyone's high on the Chargers. They're not that good. They just played two cupcake teams. Their defense is bad, and they're going to make Justin Fields look kind of good. Their offense isn't going to be able to do anything, and the Saints steamroll them and suddenly sit 3-0. Kind of reminds me of some of those Chase Claypool years where they went like 10-0 and then they actually weren't that good. Steelers.
Interesting. So, Mike, I have to be honest with you. I hadn't chosen my lock of the week until we press record. Well, I hadn't really chosen it until what you just said right now, and I think I'm going to do it because the first bet I have written down is Chargers -1.5. My lock of the week is Chargers money line, and one of us is going to lose our lock of the week. There it is, folks, and we did not have this planned at all. Not planned at all, but you're dumb. You're really dumb. I actually, and it probably would have been my lock of the week otherwise, was at the Steelers-Broncos game. I watched a bad Steelers game beat an even worse Broncos team. I don't know what happened week one, but Mike, it's Justin Herbert versus Justin Fields. I like my Justin a lot more than your Justin. I like Jim Harbaugh more than Mike Tomlin. And I'll reiterate my thoughts I said about the Steelers last week. You guys are fucking losers. You let this coach and you worship this coach who gives you above average seasons year after year, playoff losses. So, Mike Tomlin's Mike Tomlin. And maybe that's the part that scares me is like, these are the type of games the Steelers win and they're not supposed to. But Chargers can run the ball. Justin Herbert can make throws. I trust that team a lot more. I trust my quarterback a lot more. And what's like the real reason you chose the Steelers? Is it just because like you like them in these weird games and it doesn't make sense and that's why it makes sense? What is it?
I'm learning from mistakes, Mike. There are teams that we generally bet on or against, and there are teams that are really hard to beat. I think some of those teams include the Steelers, the Packers, the Patriots. Whether it's their best year or their worst year, when you walk into their home, they are a difficult team to beat. And the Chargers are not good.
I don't know about that.
Two cupcake teams.
But
they don't want Justin Herbert to throw the ball anymore. And that running game of J.K. Dobbins isn't going to be able to do anything against T.J. Watt and that defense.
Well, this is the biggest part you're missing about the game. Who is the Chargers' best player? I want to hear your thoughts. Who is it?
Justin Herbert.
It's not. It's Joe Alt. their right tackle. I'm so fucking. Do you see me smiling right now? I'm not smiling. That guy he's probably the best tackle in the NFL already. You should see the fucking film on this guy. He's a monster who's always lower to the ground in the pass blocks, and he's just shut down. He shut down Max Crosby. Maybe TJ Watt still sneaks a sack in there, but man, they're gonna keep that guy covered. Same thing with Rashawn Slater on the other side. I like those guys to contain them in there. And Joe Alt's the Chargers' best player, and that's why they've been able to run the ball. And I don't know if you've like watched film. I saw Twitter clips, but damn, that boy's big.
You're taking Joe Alt over reigning defensive player of the year. Should have been back-to-back defensive player of the year.
Dark horse for offensive rookie of the year. With the way the rookie quarterbacks have gone, I haven't seen a rookie running back jump off the tape. You got Marvin Harrison, but like Joe Alt, what's his odds to win offensive rookie of the year? I'll check in a sec, folks, because I've talked myself into a new bet. Yeah, Joe Alt versus TJ Watt. How about we make a side bet, Mike? I will bet you that TJ Watt doesn't have a sack this weekend. And it has to be a full sack. It can't be a 0.5. I'll bet you $50 right now.
Deal.
That was a dumb bet, I feel like.
I won't put my shirt back on until TJ Watt has another sack this season.
Mike, well, for the sake of the conversation, is it just sack in general? Or is it sack against Joe Alt? And keep in mind, he is always lined up on the left side, and that's where Joe Alt's going to be the whole game. But, there's always what if Joe Alt gets injured? What do you think? Joe Alt against Joe Alt. Joe Alt's lined up in front of him. All right, deal.
Sure.
Cool.
What happens if Joe Alt goes down first play of the game? Then I don't even get a chance?
Then I think that's just the telling sign to the viewers to just fade me every day of your life because my luck sucks. And yeah, no. Cool. Nice. Locks of the weeks. And Mike said it. We're both 2-0. One of us will lose next week, and one of us going to keep having the streak go on. And I'm just so glad it's me.
This is incredible.
It's good. We gotta make some content out of this. And
normally I'd be on that side. Normally I'd be on your side, and I was
shocked you came out with that. I was shocked.
Smarter and better. I'm smarter and better.
We'll get to some other games you like. I have two big questions about the Eagles against the Saints this weekend and the Ravens against the Cowboys. But yeah, you said it. Like, this is gonna be good content. I just want to hear your thoughts. Like, how are you liking the podcast so far? We've been doing it for about, I'd say almost a month now.
Yeah.
We've been on a consistent schedule. I think maybe our marketing can be a little bit more consistent, but we're busy guys. But how you been liking it so far?
I love it. It's fun. 2 times a week that we get to hop on here after really not discussing much beforehand so that it's just all natural, basically us having a conversation, is just so much fun every single time. We click that end button on the recording, and then I'm like, that was awesome. That was the best one. Like, every time I feel like we're getting better, and it's just so much fun. I absolutely hate the editing and all of that other annoying shit. But then when I cook up the coolest fucking TikTok reel ever, I'm like, this is the one that's going to go viral.
Right.
And none of them have gone viral yet. I really thought me doing the dishes was going to get us there.
It was good. That was close.
Yeah.
That was good.
But yeah, we're right. It's fun. I love it.
Our goal is not to really go viral. It'd be cool, but we're not asking for it. I think our goal with this was, let's show everyone how our conversations go, how our thought process goes when making bets, how much of losers we are in regards to bets and a majority of life, but how we think we're winners. And it's been fun. I've had a good time. You called me one day out of the blue, and I'm a yes man. I say yes to everything. So I said yes to this, obviously. But it is a commitment. Like, we got to do this twice a night, especially during football season. And I think what we're doing right now, it could be considered the bare minimum, but it's good enough. And I've even been thinking about, like, if we had some of our friends step into our shoes, they can criticize all they want. I bet you they couldn't do what we do. Why not us, when you really think about it?
Why not us? And I love how it's relatable too,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like everyone can, like, think, like, damn, I have people that I have these same exact conversations with, and now they just get to hear our opinions of it. instead of me calling every single one of my friends and talking sports to them,
Right.
they can just listen in here. And, I want to get better at like posting more regularly and getting everyone engaged. Along with getting everyone engaged, I want to start getting some people on here. I want to start talking to people.
It's coming.
People need to call in and get questions in there. And we need to take note of when people text us privately about questions and suggestions. And, we did this for our friends to hear, and I want to continue to incorporate them. So I think we can cook up some cool ways to get everyone involved.
That's a good point, Mike. And I totally agree. I think it's time to get some of the boys on here. I think we're scheduled to get our first guest, and this is going to be different from an interview because I want our first interview to be someone cool, and our boys are not cool. But we'll have one of them on next week. Surprises to come there. And, while you're saying that, I thought of something. I think we're having like a group chat epidemic right now. Maybe it's just the fact that we're out of college and like, guys try to keep in touch. But you said how like instead of calling everyone, it's nice to come on the podcast and vent. Well, this is really just one big group chat. And people can join when they want and leave when they want. They can mute it when they want, mute it when they don't want to. And I'm just in way too many that I don't know which one like I should release my thoughts to immediately. You get the same thing. It's like, who do I call here?
Yeah.
Which group chat do I, right? Like work, school, call, So yeah, I agree. It's like consolidation of our venting rants that usually end up in group chats of our friends. So that's how I see this.
I love it. And I agree. I think I'm pretty bad at reaching out to people, staying in contact, just on a normal basis outside of the group chats. I'd like to get better at it. But this is a way for everyone from high school, from college, anyone that's not in DC that doesn't talk to me regularly to know that I haven't changed a fucking bit.
Not one.
I am still the same degenerate, sports gambling, sports loving idiot that spends all Sunday on the couch, that watches every sports game, that still does everything that I used to do before I hit the real world, except now I get paid to do work during the day.
Right. Which you like, sort of.
I do.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I do.
You like
work is good. Yeah.
What do you do for work?
First Caps game on Saturday. I work at Capital One Arena, so I'll be at a ton of Caps and Wizards games. I wear a suit for every single Caps and Wizards game.
Wow.
So I look like the fucking man.
The fucking man. A gabagoon in the suit, yeah. Is it a suit or is it like an Italian suit? I know you're not Italian.
Suit. I mean, I'm not going tie most of the time. I'll mix in the tie here and there.
Right.
But like when you see a guy in a suit walking around at a basketball game, you're like, that guy's important.
And then they tune into the Why Not Us podcast and they're like, that guy's an idiot.
They're like, is that the same guy?
Yeah, right. The 40-year-old on my screen? Yeah. Yeah, man.
Let's talk about that, actually. That's been a cool part. Not many, but we have had a few interactions where like someone comments or someone likes something, and I immediately am like, yo, Mike, like, is this one of your boys?
Right.
Do you know this person?
Yeah. No, that's the part I didn't like expect. And like you said, it's only been like 2 people, but like I only expected our friends to listen to this, and we've gotten some randos. And I think next goal, if like we're putting this into Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, we're going into Q2, and like part of our Q2 agenda is getting more randoms to listen. And that comes from marketing, that comes from the extracurriculars, but give us some slack. I think, you know what? Just put it right there. We're through a month.
We're doing a great job.
We're doing
a great job.
We're doing good. We're doing good on bets too. Let's keep it going. All right? Let's keep it going. First game. Well, let me ask you 2 questions before we get to our bets first. First question. And I didn't give you time to think about these, but I need you to not be biased. Don't be biased. Just be a football podcast host, okay? Because it's just going to get boring if you're biased every time. Really think about these. Whose game between the Cowboys and Eagles is more important for that team, and who should be more scared for the game and definitely if they lose? So I'll start if you want to digest.
Good question.
Well, I haven't even thought about the answer. But the more important game, it's actually a hard question. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
They're both extremely important. Neither one of us has an easy opponent.
No.
I would argue that the Eagles game is more important. I'll say that based on the fact that week one, whether or not the Browns are a good team, we saw a complete Cowboys game. They played a complete game other than being able to finish in the red zone, but they dominated and they showed what they can be when they're at their best. Now, a question moving forward is consistency, and you need to see some of that this week against a big opponent. They usually play to their opponent, so I'm not worried about the Cowboys being in the game. It's more a matter of will they win or not. The Eagles,
That's how I feel
according
about
to
the Birds
you,
every week.
right, according to you, they have the talent and they just aren't putting it together yet. And I think every week that goes by that they either win or lose a close game where they don't look that great and they still don't play their best game, that's another week where it's like, when is this Eagles team going to figure it out? And those questions become louder and more frequent the longer it goes on. So, yeah, they're playing a good Saints team, but I think you need the Eagles, to come out and play a complete game where they put all facets of the game together sooner rather than later.
I, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm going to say that the Eagles game is more important, but it is for the same reason you said. I just want to put light to it on a kind of different side. So here's the thing with the Cowboys. So like the Cowboys lose this game to the Ravens, right? Or like let's say they win, right? Like let's say they, like you said, complete game, they win at the end, right? Well, I still feel the exact same about the Cowboys if they win this game and if they lose this game because of the past 5 years. So what I realized about the Cowboys is like kind of the opposite of the Eagles. They hide all their problems, which they do in the form of winning regular seasons games, blowing teams out, and they still have 4 missteps in the regular season. But they hide their problems and they're exposed when the playoff time comes. The Eagles are like, hey guys, here's our fucking problems. Roast us while you can. The question is, can they put it together again? So that said, yeah, the Eagles game is more important, especially coming off the loss last week, right? You have to see how they're going to respond from that sort of thing. But like, let's just realize here that the reason the Cowboys game isn't important is because like you're not gonna have like actual problems if they win or if they lose, right? They're just gonna be the Cowboys. They're gonna win big games again, like they did against the Browns week one, and it'll all come crashing down in the playoffs. Like every year, they hide their problems. At least I know where my team holes are. Yours just comes out of nowhere.
I see what you're saying.
Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. I think that I'll really feel nervous about the Cowboys if they don't at least play well this week. The Ravens are 0-2. They're hungry. They need a win. 0-3 is a disaster of a start for any team, and I think they get like a 4% chance to make the playoffs or something, maybe even less after starting 0-3. So
They can't go.
I know they're going to
0-3.
come out firing, and the Cowboys it's going to be a close game.
We'll
If the
see.
Cowboys completely shit the bed at home in back-to-back weeks and don't show up at all, I'll be really concerned. If they come out and compete, win or lose, I will feel the exact same way I've felt about them all season. Very similarly, like you said, like this team is going to win 10, 11 games. They're going to compete for the division, and all that really matters is the playoff games. So yeah, it's just about putting those like finishing touches
Let me ask
during
you,
the regular season. Yeah,
do you feel that it could go the same way the Saints game did?
no,
Okay, so why?
it was a dud.
Okay,
They
no, no,
came
no.
in.
Don't do that. Give me logic.
They came in cocky. They won week one after I'm sure the coaching staff and everyone fired them up all off season. They won a dominant game against what was supposedly a good Browns defense. And then they came at home where they've been invincible the last 2 to 3 seasons. They don't lose at home. And they walked in there and they said, we're just going to run shit. And the offense didn't look good. They couldn't finish in the red zone again. They had no problem getting there, but they couldn't finish in the red zone again. Dug themselves a big hole. The defense clearly is still learning the system and actually played a good offense and looked like idiots. And I think that was a big reality check. I'm happy they got it out of the way in week 2.
I kind of see a similar team to the Saints as far as the Ravens go. On offense, they got big boys up front, and they always line up in this like weird pistol shotgun where they're able to just rely on the play action. And the Saints exploited the Cowboys with the play action on Sunday. So Derrick Henry, not to mention, man, which one of your interior defensive line stopping that guy? I don't know. I think 9-yard carries the whole time that sets up play actions give me Rashad Bateman anytime touchdown on like a 70-yard bomb, just like Rashid Shaheed again against those abysmal. Who's your second corner, by the way?
Have you been watching the Ravens this season?
Yeah, they almost beat the Chiefs, and they should have. And they had a weird Raiders game against a team that just looked like they matched up well against them. I'm still in on the Ravens. I haven't left, and you said it best. They can't go 0-2, and Derrick Henry has a game.
Derrick Henry looks like shit. I think my grandma could tackle him. And the running game is non-existent, which then means the passing game is non-existent. I'm sure they're going to look better, and we have no defensive tackle. By the way, our backup defensive tackle just got injured today, so that's cool.
Didn't you have like he had a weird name, defensive tackle, like
Osa Odigizua?
Odigizua. Where's that guy?
He's injured,
is he playing?
I think. I don't know.
I was going to say if he was playing, then I was like, oh, where'd that guy go?
He's not like a tackle, though. He's more like a guy that stands next to the tackle guy.
So, well, you mean like nose tack? Like he's not a nose guard. He's like a bigger defensive end almost?
No, he's smaller, quicker, like more elusive.
Like Milton
normally
Williams.
would be a defensive end, but we have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, so he stands slightly inside of the end.
Interesting. DeMarcus Lawrence is washed. You agree, right?
He starts off slow every season.
He was getting
bullied. Does this every season.
Bullied. He's going against...
Listen, like you said, nothing is going to change about the Cowboys till the playoffs.
You're right.
And this season looks exactly the same as every other season.
You're right. All I can hope is that they miss the playoffs, and they probably won't. And I can't wait for who they play in the wild card when Geno Smith dots them up. It's going to be sick. Cool.
So let me ask you this about the Eagles, because we have to hit on that. What makes you think this is the week where they finally put it together?
Did I say that they were going to do that? I don't think I've given my prediction yet.
Fine. First question. Do the Eagles finally put it all together this week?
Well, first of all, before we get to the Eagles, who do you think is going to win the game? Cowboys, Ravens.
Cowboys. Nice and simple. We're the better team. We're playing better. The Ravens are desperate, and desperation helps sometimes. But when they're playing from behind and they have to start throwing the ball, that's a recipe for disaster for them. If we come out first drive, whether we win or lose the coin toss, we win the coin toss, give me the damn ball, Mike McCarthy. Give me the ball, run that offense out there. They get to the red zone with no problems. Just finish, put a damn touchdown on the board. Crowd is fired up. Last week is forgotten. We're up 7-0. Ravens are playing from behind the whole game, and we win the game.
Yeah, if you keep
I'd like to see the game.
If it's like a one-score game going into the fourth, I like the Ravens because Lamar knows he needs a win, and he's the better quarterback on the field, and he'll create some magic. So I'm actually taking the Ravens. That's one of my picks this week. Is Cowboys one of your picks this week?
Yeah, we're dogs. I'll take the money line.
All right. Yeah, no, it's even money right now.
I saw Ravens -1, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but the money line is even.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah. They don't really do like pick'ems anymore for the spread. They always give you a spread regardless, and then they'll like adjust the odds on it. Gambling's gotten so it's like I'm trying to find a comparison, but it's like that cool guy that like became your boss, and now he's like super like, he's not as cool. He's not one of your boys anymore. That's kind of like what gambling's become, and like the sports books have just made it too hard, and like they just care too much. Like, dude, just throw some odds out there and let us fucking pick, all right? Like, stop getting so like -108 and like +122. Nah, just like give me fucking -110 every time and figure it the fuck out and just let us be. You're still gonna win. Anyways, to answer your Eagles question, Mike, and we're doing this on a Thursday. We'll see how I feel Sunday. This could bulldoze. This could be a snowball effect with the Eagles starting last week. It could, and I'll be aware of that. But I'm not going to think that's going to happen. I'm taking the Eagles to cover the 3. I'm taking the Eagles to win. I think that the Saints are just going to come down to planet Earth just a little bit, okay? And I think if this is a close game, which all Eagles games are, the Eagles are the team that's built to come out of this. So I saw them get trounced by the 49ers last year, and the Saints aren't the 49ers. So I just don't see this Eagles team get beat up. And given what happened last week, given that AJ will probably be back, there's a lot of leaders in that locker room. If it's a close game, which I expect it to be, the Eagles come out on top. And you'll be complaining because it'll be a close win and there will be like one play that's like, what happened there? But they'll win. They'll go 2-1. And a lot of pressure will be on the Cowboys in the afternoon game. That's my prediction. But it is a more important game. And I think I'm a little less scared, though. Even though the Cowboys-Ravens is even money, like I feel more confident about the Eagles than the Cowboys winning from a completely non-biased perspective.
I can't understand how you're not confused and you still feel confident in the Eagles in a close game after what we saw in a close game last week.
Yeah, I do.
You feel confident in the Eagles in a close game after they led a close game for 59 minutes last week and then lost.
Yeah. No, Saquon probably won't drop a wide open ball anymore, and they usually win those close games. So.
Okay, so we're going with usually now. The Eagles usually will win on Sunday.
I don't know what to think of this game, actually. I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
I appreciate that you're nervous, and I'm
not
nervous too.
I haven't even thought about it. Like the Monday night game just happened, and I've been at work all day, and now you're making me think about the next fucking Eagles game.
Is that not what this podcast is about? I'm sorry.
This is gonna be tough, man. Like, holy shit. I already explained the process on Monday night, but like, can I just take a step back and, I just didn't realize like this is what the podcast really is. It's like after an Eagles loss like that, like I have to talk about it. Like literally right after was texting you that they won.
How do you think I felt all day on Monday after the Cowboys got their ass beat and I thought the Eagles are going to win this game and I'm going to get absolutely ripped to shreds?
I wasn't even planning on going that much in because I was going to go all in on this week and like the Cowboys losing to the Ravens and then the Eagles being like 3-0 and the Cowboys being 1-2. So
yeah,
I didn't get the chance to
jinxed the Eagles by looking too far into the future.
My God, yeah. And I knew it the whole time and I was like, when are they going to prove me wrong? And it turns out it happened just like the Seahawks Monday night game. But yeah, man.
That's on you, man.
Yeah, I don't know. This team's so weird. They're so talented, though, so I just trust that they'll have a better chance of putting it together than the Cowboys do. Because, I mean, the Cowboys, like I said, their issues are glaring. It's like you can point them out on paper. The Eagles, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, what are they doing? And maybe they'll never put that together. That's fine. But at least, like, I'm not just in a corner of my room crying because we can't stop the run all year.
Wouldn't you rather have your questions on paper so that you can try and solve them versus not being able to understand what the problems are?
Your problems aren't solvable mid-season, dude. You gotta those are like 3-4 year problems that all come back to how Jerry Jones signs his contracts. On. Yes. There's a reason the Eagles roster is better. It's because we have the better GM.
Okay.
By the way, I'm just gonna say this about the Eagles because the Eagles, when we are good, it's always because of our lines. We've had the best offensive line in football for more than 5 years now. And the D-line won us a Super Bowl in 2017 and got us to the Super Bowl in 2022, or was a big part of it when they had 60 sacks or 70 sacks that season. This year, they have no pass rush. Josh Sweat is not a number one. Bryce Huff is barbecue chicken trash. So they don't have a stud, and that's just Vic Fangio's scheme. He rushes 4. Once Micah Parsons comes to the team, it'll be better. But for this season, I don't know what's solvable about it. I'm telling you, you need to think the same way about the Cowboys. Like, you can't just go out and get a stud D tackle. Same thing goes for a stud pass rusher. Maybe Howie pulls something out of his rush, but it is a glaring issue. If you were to ask me, like, what's my number one concern about the Eagles, it's not even Nick Sirianni. It's the pass rush. It's bad.
Okay, we got that out.
Well, I don't know. It's
Cowboys,
a podcast.
Eagles, both talented teams. They'll both maybe put it together at some point and make a run for the sake of this podcast. But both looking weird after 2 weeks. And you know what else is weird? I called it before the season when I brought up the stat that half the teams that make the playoffs the year before don't, and there's a new half that make the playoffs. And a lot of these teams, after 2 weeks that look like the better teams, there's just no way we could have predicted. There's a lot of weird games this week. I mean, one of the Steelers or Chargers is going to be 2-0. The Vikings have a 3-0. The Vikings have a chance to be 3-0. The Ravens can be 0-3. Like, this whole half the playoff teams dropping off and a new half coming up, it's happening, and we did not see it coming. What is your biggest take of the week? Which team needs to win the most? Which coach is on the hottest seat? Bryce Young already got benched. Which quarterback is going to get benched next? Who needs to play the best in week 3?
There would be a very big Kirk Cousins conversation if Saquon didn't drop that ball on Monday night, because he did have some weird throws. They settled for field goals a lot. So I think Penix is an easy thing to go to with the backup QB thing, Mike. But listen, I want to talk about the Jaguars, and I want to talk about Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson has not just proven by the record, but by the decisions he's made this season that he is a contender for the worst coach in football. And this is the guy that won me my Super Bowl, my only Super Bowl. And Dougie, like, it is, I don't think that team trusts you anymore. I don't think Trevor Lawrence even likes you anymore. If I had to put money down on a coach to get fired, I would choose Doug Peterson this year. Because, by the way, they play the Bills in Buffalo on Monday night, and the Bills are getting 5 points, or giving 5 points. Sorry, Jared. And yeah, so, I mean, they're going to go 0-3. I don't like them to win that game. And listen, they haven't even been that bad. They aren't a bad team, which is why, Doug Peterson, you're on the hot seat. And a lot of this goes to Trevor Lawrence, too, because we touched on it last week, but one of one, he was the first overall pick. He's one of the best college quarterbacks ever. Top 15, maybe. Awesome at Clemson. Comes in, just looks like a quarterback. He's like a Peyton Manning build, has a strong arm, sits in the pocket, smart decisions. And it just hasn't translated. And I know that happens with quarterbacks, but if I'm a Jags fan, dude, it's like, how are you supposed to like feel? I mean, it's a weird spot, arguably the worst spot, because you're like, is he our quarterback? He kind of has to be our quarterback. So, same thing with the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah, big eyes on the Jags this week. I hope that answered a lot of your question. I'd love to ask you the same.
I mean, I think like there's so many different teams and players that we can hit on. Another one that I think is huge. I'll give you my pick for tonight to lead into this conversation. Patriots +6.
You're taking the Pats.
In MetLife, I may, before game time, sprinkle on the money line, but my official pick is Pats +6. The Jets have not looked convincing. Robert Saleh basically has his job because they were able to bring in Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, he was toast, and I still think he probably should have been fired after last season and probably before the season before. Like, this is his last chance to keep his job. If Aaron Rodgers can't start turning the fuck up, then he's just going to be Matt Ryan for the next 3 years. And this team is talented on both sides of the football. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and a pretty damn good defense, and they can't convincingly beat the Titans. Like, they need to convincingly beat the Patriots tonight. And it's not going to happen because the Patriots are a gritty team that play the Jets well. And Robert Saleh is sunnily on the hot seat on Friday morning.
Props to you. I like that analysis. That's good. I'm still staying away. I didn't pick this game. I have to. Because I do think there's a world in which the Jets are like, oh, there they are. Like, that's the team we know. And then we're like, oh, right. That's who the Patriots are. But you said it. Like, Robert Saleh, I don't love him. I don't trust him to cover 6 points. I don't trust his Jets team to cover 6 points. But I can't bet it. It's too ugly. And Thursday nights are just weird, man. I never know which way to go. Is it going to be a shootout because they didn't get to plan as much on defense? Is the defense going to be locked in? Like, they're just hard to tell. So I'm staying away from this Thursday game.
Nice.
But I like
38 and a half over under. I kind of like the
Uh-huh.
under. Not an official pick, but the under seems cool.
The under does, in fact, seem cool. Who scores on the Patriots, though? Like, who's scoring points?
Ramondre's fat. Jacoby Brissett's a bum. Polk. Who else do they have that's catching the ball?
Kendrick Bourne.
Did Jalen Reagor just get released from the Patriots? He just got released from somebody.
No, I think
I'm disrespecting him by not knowing what team he just got released from.
Did
you see what he posted?
No, I didn't hear anything about Jalen Reagor.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up who he got released by right now.
I thought you were talking about a different former Eagles receiver because I don't know if you remember Jordan Matthews.
Yeah.
In 2015, he had the game winner on Sunday night against the Cowboys. You remember that one?
Sort of, sure.
He's like, I don't know, he's probably in his 30s or something now, but he switched to tight end and he was on the Panthers and he was actually like catching some balls at tight end for the Panthers. I'm like, this guy's still in the league, and then he just got released today. So I thought you were talking about him at first, but carry on, Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, Jalen Reagor posted that funny meme where it's like a super shitty rundown house with like the driveway on the side that's like an open driveway, but there's like a super sick sports car in it. And it like, so he posted that on his Instagram
About
and then
himself.
got released from the Patriots.
He got released after he posted it. Why would he post that?
What a bomb. Was
there any context? Did he like walk into the room when they were cutting him and was like, well, how did you know that I was talking about you? There's no context. What if that's his house?
No, it's a meme. Come on.
It's about the Patriots? Yeah. What are you doing, Jalen Reagor? Jesus.
Can't believe Jalen Reagor just made it to this podcast. What a bomb.
We
Get
drafted
that guy back
him
on the Eagles.
over Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good day. That was great.
Another cool game, anyways. Speaking of Justin Jefferson, one of the Texans or the Vikings will be 3-0. The Texans, some people could have predicted that before the season, especially with the three teams they played. They beat the Colts, then they beat the Bears, now they play the Vikings. Mm-hmm. I bet a lot of people would have bet on them to be 3-0. The Vikings, people thought was going to be one of the worst teams in the league with Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy. Vikings money line.
Wow.
Put it on the paper.
Sam Darnold comes back to earth this game. I didn't have this pick written down, but I'm pretty sure the line's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Texans -2. Yeah, Texans -2. I'm going to keep riding the Texans wagon. I'd be a little scared if this was for them to go 3-0 against the spread, but they didn't cover against Colts in that first game. And even the Bears game was a push. So technically the Texans haven't covered yet this season, and that's a good team. 2 seems really low to me, and Vikings are getting juice. My theme for my picks this week, Mike, was just make smart bets. Just like take the winners. That's my thought. Like, I'm just going to take the teams that are going to win. So I stayed away from lines that were like 5 or 6, and I took like all the ones that were like in the the -3 zone. The Chargers fit that mold. The Eagles fit that mold. They're my official pick, +3. The Titans are getting a point and a half, or giving a point and a half against Green Bay in Tennessee. Do you remember what I told you about Malik Willis a couple weeks ago and what's going to happen?
Yep.
I told you that he's going to have a good first game. He's going to surprise some people, and then he's going to come back to earth. And this is the game. And it just happens to be against his former team that knows Malik Willis is trash. I was tempted to make this my lock of the week. I'm taking the Titans -1.5 against Green Bay. Did you pick this game?
Yep.
Who'd you pick?
Packers.
You did not.
For the exact reason that you just stated. Malik Willis coming home to a team that didn't give him a chance. Is he a good quarterback? No.
It doesn't work that way.
Do they have a good coach that can dial up a decent offensive plan for him? Yeah. Will Will Levis have at least one really dumb play? Yeah. The Titans don't deserve to win this game, and they won't.
All right. I don't think we've gone together on a pick yet. Have we? No. I didn't. I'm taking Texans now because you convinced me to. I'm just going to keep going through the 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah.
Did you bet the Broncos at Buccaneers game?
I did.
Tampa Bay -6.5. I did not. And I already told you why. I'm staying away from high spreads, but you're taking the Bucks. Okay.
Bucks.
Yeah. Seems a little too obvious.
It feels like a sheet pick. It feels obvious.
6.5 too. It's like, why was Detroit giving 7.5 against the Bucks, but then the Bucks is playing this Bronco team at home that's bad, and they're giving 6.5? It's a little weird to me. A little weird.
I feel like I don't mind getting weird.
You can get weird.
I'm gonna get weird.
I did the thing where I was like, just bet like with like betting knowledge. Like I didn't even think about the teams. I was like, is this line weird? Cool. I'm taking the other side. And I'm not doing that this week. This week I'm just gonna I know ball. It's my I know ball picks. And I took, who's gonna win. So I fully expect to go 8-0. But you got the Buccaneers -6.5.
Yeah, the Broncos are bad. They can't score. The Bucks can score. Kind of will look a lot like week 1 where the Bucks just outpaced the Commanders in scoring, and it's going to happen again.
And you have the Texans or the Vikings money line.
Yeah, you know what really solidified the Bucks spread was that the Steelers beat the Broncos in Denver by 5, and if they can do that, the Bucks can beat the Broncos at home by 7.
Most definitely. But then that's why this line makes not a lot of sense to me. So weird though. Like, why is it 6.5? I should take it. Good football.
You're not going to though.
No,
You're so afraid.
I'm gonna find a team, another favorite to parlay with them with instead of taking the spread. I don't want to take the spread, but the Bucks are gonna win that game. So let me get back to you on that.
How about another game with 6.5 point spread? Cleveland Browns.
Oh God.
Giving the New York Giants 6.5 points at home.
I kind of like the Giants.
You can take them.
A tiny bit.
Because I am hammering the Browns. I was tempted to, for the third week straight up fade the Giants. And that's not my lock of the week. That was the plan for the first 2 locks of the week, and it was almost this week. Had to switch things up because didn't want the Giants to break my streak of locks. But assistant co-lock of the week, Browns -6.5. Similarly, strategizing with why I took the Bucks. The Browns just beat the Jags at home by 5, and the Jags, I think, are a lot better than the Giants. So the Browns are going to beat the Giants by more than 7.
I be cautious about using that logic. It doesn't work that way in football. I think we've learned that from our 5 years of gambling together. It doesn't work that way.
It's going to, though.
This is the year. This is the year my logic makes sense. I'm staying away.
This just seems like
staying the fuck away.
This just seems like a game where Daniel Jones has 17 interceptions.
Get away from me. I don't want to even watch. Go away. This game is disgusting to me. I'm out on it.
You won't need to watch. It's kind of like you're buying like a 40-year bond that you can't touch for the next 40 years, except it's like for 4 hours. And like you have a guaranteed payout. You just have to wait 4 hours.
It's like the Hawaii game on a Saturday after missing all your college football bets. Like, you wake up, you'll see if it works. Same thing. Like, I don't even want to know until Wednesday who won this game. Bears at Colts. Colts -1, pretty much a money line pick 'em. Do you have a pick for this game?
No.
I do.
I
Colts.
might then. Ooh.
I like the Colts. Better football team. At home, only getting a point, only giving a point. Caleb Williams hasn't shown me anything. I don't know if Keenan Allen's going to be healthy. And I don't think the Colts deserve to go on 3. That's a good team. At home. Weird line. Taking the better football team. Colts -1.
Bears. Give me the Bears.
Official pick. Bears.
Yeah. I just listened to your rationale and it made me like the Bears. Because it would make no sense for the Bears to be 2-1 after Caleb Williams does nothing to help them win. It would make no sense for the Colts to go 0-3. The Bears have a good defense, and they're going to shut down the running game of Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is going to have a few turnovers because he does that against normal defenses, and now he's actually playing a good defense. Bears. Bears.
Let's see. Next game, we got another stay away. I hope you are too, Michael. Panthers at Raiders. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, let's just skip it.
Okay. We didn't take it. We're good boys. Dolphins and Seahawks. You already teased it. I stayed away too. But something tells me Dolphins in this game, but 2 is out. And the spread's only -4, Seattle, in Seattle. So I stayed away from games that I don't understand this week versus trying to make logic out of it. I don't understand this game in the slightest. But something weird is telling me Dolphins.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Just go with what makes sense in a game like this. Seahawks.
You're taking Seahawks.
Yep.
You have a lot more points. You have a lot more picks than me this week.
I feel good about the slate this week.
I think I'm doing a good strategy by just taking games. Another game I took. Well, Ravens Cowboys we hit. I'm taking Ravens. You're taking Cowboys. Lions at Cardinals. Intriguing game. Both teams 1-1. Even spread. -3 in Detroit. It's in Arizona. And Detroit's getting -3. Mike, I wrote down Arizona +3 against Detroit. We're
on the same page.
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
Let's go, Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals. I like this team. And I hate Jonathan Gannon, but I like this team. And I think I'm a little bit down on the Lions, just a tiny bit. I think they're built like the Eagles. They want close games where they can just run it down your throat and run out the clock at the end of the game. And I think the Cardinals are a team that's built to win against those type of teams with weird plays out of nowhere, Kyler pulling stuff out of his ass. Trey McBride is become maybe the best tight end in football, just reliable on third downs. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to continue to get better, and the defense has a good scheme.
I'll say this.
Arizona. Go ahead.
I'll say this. The only thing that makes me nervous is Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know anything about the Cardinals O-line, but I'm pretty sure it's not that good. And the Lions secondary is bad. Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride and James Conner are going to be fine, and they're going to put up points unless Aiden Hutchinson continues this insane tear that he's on. So that makes me nervous, but still going to stick with the Cardinals. The over-under is 51.5. I really like the under. But my official pick, because it doesn't make sense, and I think the Lions' offense isn't as good as last year, and Aiden Hutchinson makes enough stops that the Cardinals don't score on every drive. Not my official pick. My official pick is Cardinals +3. The 51.5 is too many points.
Cool. Well, one pick we align on. Good job, Mike.
Yep. Everyone should now take the Lions.
Everyone should take the Lions, which, by the way, could just be argued as a game that's like, duh. But we're taking the other side. Cardinals are good. Cardinals are good. 49ers at Rams. The Rams are decimated. The 49ers, obviously, without McCaffrey. San Francisco -7. I stayed away.
Rams.
Rams. Why?
Because the 49ers aren't that good.
I'm taking the Rams. I agree. At home. I don't care how injured they are. 7 points feels like a lot against a 49ers team. Well, by the way, the Rams always play them tough. McVay, yeah, give me the Rams. I'm in, Mike. I like it.
The only guy I need on the field for the Rams is Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as he's on the field, I don't care.
And he's better than Brock Purdy, and we know this.
Yep.
Sunday Night Football. Chiefs at Falcons. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. The Falcons just had a primetime game against the Eagles in which they squeaked out. Mike, I have 2 bets for this game.
Okay.
I have the over, 46.5, because it feels low. And I'm taking Falcons plus 3.5 because I think that's a team that's just going to keep getting better. And maybe Kirk Cousins just threw away his bad primetime game mojo. And I'm weary on the Chiefs as well. I think this is a team that, like we've said about a lot of 0-2 teams, they don't deserve to go 0-3. I don't think this team deserves to go 3-0. So I'm just going to lay the points. Falcons plus 3.5 and the over. Mike?
This game scares me. This game scares me even more now that
stay
you're
away.
on the
I've stayed away
Falcons
from
plus
a lot.
3.5. Yeah, but I don't like staying away from a primetime game because then I just watch it.
We're going to end up betting it either way. You might as well say your pick now.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my original pick, which was Falcons plus 3.5. The Chiefs play close games. The Chiefs play close games in prime time. The Chiefs aren't that good. The Falcons fan base is going to be fired up in Mercedes-Benz.
For sure.
I think winning last week was huge, and now they're pumped to see this team play in another big game.
For sure.
I never feel good about betting against Patrick Mahomes, so that scares me. And the worst case scenario is the Chiefs win this game with a game-winning field goal. Like, I just don't see them losing.
Mm-hmm.
So in a parlay, give me the Chiefs and anyone at plus money. But it's a close game. They're going to play it close. They're not that good.
I agree. I'm just taking the points. I agree. And let me give a weird take here. I think Patrick Mahomes is a bad game. I'm just feeling a bad game coming out of him. And it won't be a bad game to the point where Chris Collinsworth is like, what's going on with Mahomes? It'll be to the point where he's like, what a bad throw by Mahomes. That's the best bad throw I've ever seen. But really, it's just going to be like he doesn't have a good game. So that's my prediction. Mahomes doesn't have a great game. And the Chiefs lose.
The problem is that Chiefs lose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say that?
They don't cover. I'm not too
okay. Because my problem with any time that Patrick Mahomes has a bad game is that he still somehow wins and then no one talks about it. Perfect example last week. They won by 1 point with a game-winning field goal in a game they didn't deserve to win, and he threw 2 picks.
2 picks.
Nobody's talking about the fact that he threw 2 picks.
Nobody. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because they won.
I think we're on the same page.
But he didn't play well. He had a lot of drives that he got bailed out by refs, specifically the last one. And he threw 2 picks. One of them being a really, really, really bad pick. But he's Patrick Mahomes, so we get to suck him off.
We talked about the Chiefs last week. Yeah, we're aligned on that. It's weird with the NFL. It's like, especially with storylines and the media, and I talked about like just how it's a game of inches last week with the Eagles. Like, it's just funny how like you can build some storylines as far as this quarterback's good, this quarterback's bad, this quarterback had a bad game. Mahomes is free of all of those, and then like, guys like Derek Carr, like when they have a bad game, they get the worst of it, right? So it's maybe the secret to gambling and winning these bets is just being the guy that can completely take a non-biased view and do that. But I've also been thinking, Mike, like, let me ask you a question. Do you think like when we're watching Sunday Night Football and like Monday night, it's like gotten to like Hollywood movie like. It just doesn't feel like a football game anymore. It feels like a movie, a 3-hour movie I'm watching. Like it's like all these different camera angles and like interviews and cool videos leading up to the game, like Monday Night Football. Is it too much?
Great question. I'm going to go with no. I like it. I think it enhances the game. I think specifically on games that are bad games, they can dramatize it to make it seem like a great game. For example, Thursday night. Like, I mean, it's honestly impressive how long these commentators have to talk about bad football games when
Right.
there's a bad football game on
Mhm.
TV. Bengals Chiefs, they could talk about that forever. The amount of times that they've played each other, the question marks about both teams, easy. When the Jets play the Patriots and it's Jacoby Brissett versus Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I don't know if you remember that primetime Patriots game last season where the Patriots had Bill Belichick as their picture graphic. They couldn't even put a player up
I
there.
do remember that. That was
Like,
hilarious.
and yet those commentators still find shit to talk about for
Yeah.
3.5 hours.
Yeah, they're impressive. I love my commentators. But like, I mean, this can relate back to politics if you want, but like it feels like even in these games, like they build like our perception of players, right? We don't get to like necessarily do it ourselves. If we were just watching like the all 22 with like no commentators, like we would just see a pure football game and we get to draw our conclusions. And like maybe we're still coming out of it. We probably are saying Patrick Mahomes is the best in the world, right? But then there will be a couple guys or a couple teams where we're like, yeah, I don't see it that way. And then we can bet on that and have different opinions. And that's maybe why, like, when we're looking at these bets, some weeks I want to come in and just like take the opposite of what everyone thinks. Is because, like, well, chances are because we watch the same product on the same TV channels, that a lot of our thoughts are going to be aligned with these teams. So how can I take advantage of that? But guess what? Vegas sets the lines that way too now. It's not just Vegas setting the lines about the better teams. It's Vegas setting the lines, assuming where the money's going to come from, or assuming what Colin, what the hell Chris Collinsworth is going to talk about, right? That's how I see it. And
You bring up a great point, and I
Mhm.
really like that. And this makes me want to take our lock of the week up a notch. The loser of this week's lock of the week will have to, if you agree, watch Thursday Night Football
Oh no.
muted.
Well, I guess it would be the next Thursday night game, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Wow. We
Oh.
can't do that because it's Cowboys at Giants and I'll be at the game.
You gotta
I'll
put
be
in,
at the game.
You
I'll
gotta
be at
put
the
on
game.
ear canceling headphones the whole time. That's crazy. Okay, what's the next Thursday night game?
Or Monday night, because I'll be traveling that Sunday.
No, oh fuck that. I hate that. Just give me one game.
All right.
Well, not you. I'm not mad at you. I just don't like how they do two on Monday night, especially when you have only 3 games in the afternoon slate with Scott Hansen. Like, give me more games then.
I get it. I agree. Sunday Night Football, Bills, Ravens, you have to watch it muted.
Wait, Monday night or Sunday night?
Next Sunday, there's one game.
Next Sunday night.
Bills play the Ravens in
You
Baltimore.
have to watch on mute.
And you have to watch it on mute.
Sunday Night Football has got to be the worst product to watch a game on mute for, because it's like what I just said. Like, there's all these like replays, and Chris Collinsworth is talking the entire fucking time. And they've been doing good this season. I actually like the product, but that would be a tough one to watch
and it
on
starts the second that you switch over from Red Zone. So, like, you don't get Carrie Underwood.
mute.
You don't get the pregame. You don't get the postgame.
Wow.
You don't get the commercials. You get white noise or...
Oh my god. Okay. All right, and we'll have to hold each other accountable to doing it, and we'll post some stuff on the Instagram. I like it, Mike. I think we have one last game, and I think it was the double on Monday night. Oh, Commanders at Bengals. I stayed away, but I'm looking forward to watching Jaden Daniels play football, and the Bengals will win this game.
Yeah, too many points for me to take the Bengals. Not enough for me to take the Commanders. If anything, I would sprinkle Commanders money line for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bengals won't go on 0-3. But
That's what you're supposed to think.
fucking right. God damn it. They got us again. I don't want to talk about college football this week.
Me neither. The Gators suck.
I just want a break. There's some good games on, and we'll still bet them, but we just don't want to talk about it right now, guys. I hope you respect it. We're in a fragile state.
Yeah, Gators are bad. Not touching that game. I had a bad week betting on college football. I just need a college break.
Yep, we're still gonna watch.
I actually get the pleasure of working a Jelly Roll concert.
Oh, cool.
So I
Nice.
will watch for the 12 o'clock slate.
Wait, and by the way, NHL's already starting.
Preseason starts Sunday.
And you got to wear a suit and tie to a Caps preseason game.
Hell yeah.
Is Ovi still playing?
Hell yeah.
Damn, that guy's never retiring. Dude,
Never.
quick story about Ovi. My first Capitals game, first Flyers game, because I'm a Flyers fan. I lived in Virginia at the time. So my dad, I remember we were in DC and we took the train to the arena. And I was like 8. And he was like, we're going to see this new rookie. And he's going to be like the next generational thing. And keep in mind, I'm like young. Like, I'm not supposed to remember this. And he was talking about Alex Ovechkin. And now I'm 23 doing a podcast after work. And he's still there. So Alex Ovechkin, shout out.
Yeah, I just saw Tom Wilson the other day.
Tom Wilson.
He was taking pictures and signing autographs at one of the events that we were running. So
Major
that was
throwback.
pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. You meet the A-list celebrities.
Is a hockey player on the Capitals. He was an all-star last year.
Oh, that Tom Wilson.
What other Tom Wilson is there?
I bet you there's a good 1,000 in the United States, actually.
I'll take the over on 1,000.
How many Tom Wilsons are in the world? The over-under set at 1,000. The loser of this bet has to watch the Super Bowl on mute. Mike, I want to close the podcast talking about 2 other sports, and we'll keep it quick. The first being baseball, because we're close to October, and there's nothing like playoff baseball. Mike, I don't know if they won tonight, but the Phillies have the best record in baseball, as they have for most of the year. The Yankees are hanging on. I actually haven't looked in a bit. Are they winning the division right now, or are the Orioles keeping it close?
Orioles are bad. They've been slumping for like 2.5 months now.
Really?
They are. Craig Kimbrell just got designated for assignment, so he's done. I think his ERA was over 20 in the last month. Not kidding.
I tried telling Orioles fans, I'm like, that's not going to end well.
Yeah, so we have a 4.5 game lead in the division.
Nice.
Pulling away.
Go win.
We have Seattle right now, so game actually hasn't started. Whooped their ass yesterday. Shout out Jason Dominguez, first home run of the season. Finally called him up. He's finally healthy. The Yankees look fucking awesome. Very similar to the Cowboys. They do the shit every year where they make the playoffs. And then different than the Cowboys, the Yankees usually win the first playoff series because they make light work of the Guardians or the Twins. Mm-hmm. And their kryptonite is the Houston Astros. I could have a full-on podcast about why I hate the Astros and how they've cost me 2 World Series for fucking cheating, but I won't. I'll save everyone the time. Can we beat the Astros this year? I truly don't know, but we look fucking awesome.
Yeah, the Yankees have been good all year, and I love that you drew back to the Cowboys because I totally agree. If they play the Astros in the ALCS, the Astros have been good lately. I know they started rough, but they're looking like the Astros that we know. They lost 4-0 to the Padres tonight, who is also a good team.
Great.
But yeah, you said it best. And, yeah, I'll take a Yankees in the World Series. It's been a while. It's been long enough. I want to see them lose in there. The World Series is better when the Yankees are in it because everyone watches and everyone roots against the Yankees or roots for them, right? Phillies Yankees is obviously what we want to see is going to happen. And I feel I should feel better because they're the better team about the Phillies than the Yankees.
Except for like the game that we watched and the series that took place. where the Yankees
That was in our
swept.
slump month. That was in our slump month. We have one every year. We had ours at the beginning of the year, so it's in the middle. So they're firing again. They're 1-1 against the Brewers right now. The bats, the pitching. Honestly, the thing I'm worried about with that team is the manager, Rob Thompson. Maybe it's like the team is so good that he's like the only person I can like blame their struggles on. But baseball is baseball. Like we can make all of our predictions and like what we think is going to happen, but baseball doesn't work that way. It's like it's whoever hits a freaking 99-mile-an-hour pitch, right? So that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of playoff baseball.
Yeah. Quick shout out to the Tigers. They are hot, and they might slip into the playoffs. Good for the city of Detroit.
Same thing with the Royals too.
Royals are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, but the surprise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably have the best pitching staff in the league, maybe. They are good.
That's bold, but yeah, they have some arms for sure. Starting arms, it feels like.
Yeah, but they just brought in that guy. I don't know his name, but
yeah,
I can look it up.
We don't have to look. It's the Detroit Tigers. We don't have to dedicate the last 10 minutes of the pod to the. But they're good. All right, well, they're good. They're good.
Yeah. What other sport did you want to hit on?
Won the pod on this. I think it's close. I've seen some great ones like Silverstone 2021 comes to mind, but that might have been my favorite F1 race ever. The Azerbaijan and Baku Grand Prix. In case you're not an F1 guy, and me and Mike certainly are, it was pretty fucking incredible. I think there were 3 storylines for the entire race. The first being the battle for first, which was Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc the whole time. That overtake was unbelievable. The fact that you can do it like that when him not thinking you're going to do it was incredible. And then Charles couldn't get back the rest of the race, which my hands were sweaty. Like I've never seen a battle like that. And there's something too about like close competition in sports. F1 might be the most exciting when it's close because like it's just exhilarating. One slip up, they're in the fastest cars in the world, and I gotta give props to Oscar Piastri because he was getting tailed for 30 laps. He couldn't make one mistake, and he didn't. So props to him.
Yeah.
Sorry, the other 2 storylines. And Lando starting in like 16th, going on the hards to start the race. Perfect strategy. I know they were waiting for the safety car, but he goes back, he gets the mediums on, and he just flies the rest of the race and passes who's ahead of him in the championship points, Max Verstappen, who we could have a discussion about if you want. But did you hear on the radio what the McLaren crew chief said to Lando, like as he got on the mediums?
No.
I couldn't give you the exact quote. It was something about how Andretti used to say something about like the wind flying through your rear, and he just made it like super emotional. I was like, oh, these guys are just buttering up the fucking broadcast. But then Lando did it, and it was cool to see because he passed Max and he even got fastest lap. And then the third storyline was the crash, which just made me, I screamed out loud. You could feel it. You could feel something was going to happen. But yeah, Checo and Carlos Sainz, who, by the way, both needed a good result, and they crashed. So awesome race. And the whole time you're just looking at all 3 storylines. There wasn't just one big thing. Like there was all these different things going on. It was a great race.
Yeah, you really just don't get that a lot with F1, especially before this season. The past like 4 seasons, Max runs away with it. Before that, Mercedes ran away with it with Lewis Hamilton. Like you got a few good races per year. I mean, this was end to end. Couldn't take your eyes off the screen. Close as F1 is, it's usually like, oh, this guy's gaining on this guy. He can pass him in 8 laps.
Right.
And then you can go like jerk off and come back and you haven't missed the pass yet. But this was just absolutely unreal.
It was so
Shout
good.
out that Silverstone 2021 race.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually there while I was studying abroad in London.
I forgot you were at that
I
one.
got super fucking hammered and fell asleep for laps 25 to 35. Luckily, nothing happened during those laps. But there's an epic picture of me sleeping with thousands of people around
That's
me
awesome.
because we drank all day, and that was one of the best sporting events I've ever attended in my life. We thought we thought Yuki Tsunoda was dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that crazy. Was it him or was it Zhou Guan Yu that had that like crazy flipping crash? I think it was Zhou Guan
Damn
that
it, I
time.
think it was
Yeah,
Joe.
it was, but that's the one you're talking about, right? When the car just like
Yeah,
flew into the
upside down, and the halo saves his life.
It was Zhou
I
Guan
mean,
Yu.
we got there at like 9 a.m. They had like smaller races throughout the day. They had a
Right.
Sebastian Vettel thing because he was retiring that season.
Yeah.
We drank all day, and it was me, my buddy Charlie, and Charlie's dad, and we got hammered. We literally were in a rotation of beer with Jameson shot, drink the beer, need to pee, go pee, get another beer, get another Jameson shot, need to, like, it was on rotation. Race finally starts at like 3 o'clock England time. And then the first fucking lap that happens, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then we had to wait like 40 minutes
that
for
was
the
a big
race to
one.
get back.
Yeah. And that was the one too where like Lewis had the double overtake, right? I'm thinking of the right one. Yeah, that was an incredible race. I don't think it really compares to this though, because like this was a true battle for first. And
right, that was a better storyline. George and Lewis, Mercedes in England.
Yep.
Lewis having a bad season and he still wins the race. First one of the season.
No,
this was just an all-around better race.
Wait, Lewis won? I thought that was Max that won that, and it was the Lewis had the overtake for second. And like that's why we've been excited about the Baku race and just this season. And I think this is my favorite season I've watched by far in F1 is like Max is usually miles ahead. He still is leading the constructors, which like is by far the biggest storyline. Like, is he going to collapse? And it's not really up to him. That car is giving him havoc. But I don't know. Maybe we're mixing up races a bit. I thought Max won that one.
We'll iron out our F1 knowledge before we bring it back up. But we did pretty good.
Yeah, no, we could do an F1 podcast.
Off the cuff, no prep.
That was good.
Who's your F1 guy? Number one driver?
So I've never been like I'm with this guy every season. Like I just love the sport, and I'm the same way with teams. I've been really rooting for Lando.
I could have predicted that.
Yeah, but it's not because like he's McLaren and they're the underdog, but because I think he's just like a true competitor. I can see it in his eyes when he gets second. I loved how he, like 8 races ago, I forget what Grand Prix it was, but against Piastri when they gave Piastri his first Grand Prix win and Charles was like 3 seconds ahead of him in first, and he like kept that until the very last lap to like prove a point. We could keep going down that wormhole, but I find myself very easily rooting for Lando. And if I had a guy for like the past 6 years, it's been Charles Leclerc. So I always root for him as well.
Yeah, I find myself rooting for the underdog. So I feel like when I got into it, it was when Mercedes was dominant. And I was like, this Max Verstappen guy seems cool.
Right.
Then Max Verstappen started winning. And the first year it was cool. And then I was like, fuck this guy.
Yep.
And started rooting for Ferrari. But then they couldn't figure out how to finish races. So naturally, McLaren became cool. Never really thought McLaren would get to this point.
No.
I thought Zach Brown probably would have been fired by now, but good for Zach Brown.
I thought he was Jerry Jones. But yeah, I mean, they'll make a 30 for 30 about this someday if they win the Constructors or even the Driver Championship, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that Ferrari and McLaren would be beating Red Bull and Mercedes on a consistent basis?
It's so cool,
anybody
though.
10 years ago, they'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah, right. It's so cool, though. So those two teams just have a nostalgia to them. And yeah, Mercedes and Red Bull are like these modern day race cars that in recent years have just been better than everyone else. And McLaren is fucking fast. And Charles Leclerc, I got to give him fucking props, man. Like he could have won, but that was a hard race for him to win. I don't think he's in the better car. And I love Charles Leclerc. I always will. I love that man. Who's your guy?
Now?
It's not George. Fuck George.
No, I did like George, though.
You did? I've always hated George.
He seems like a cool guy. I'd drink a beer with George.
I did like, since he, stole a podium with the crash, how like when they went to the room where they like talk about the race with each other, he didn't say a word. Because if George had said one word, I would have been like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, let these two that just battled for 40 laps for the actual race talk. But he didn't say a word. So good social awareness, George Russell.
Yeah, I've always been a science guy.
Yeah,
He
I
seems
like
like a
Carlos
complete
too.
asshole. He like very much to Verstappen doesn't care about like the etiquette of driving and
Right.
like just wants to win and like never actually does. Is
Mhm.
second fiddle. He's heading to Williams. Like
Yeah. I
it just
forgot
seems
he's
like a
going to
guy I
Williams.
would root for.
Yeah, I like Carlos, and I wish him the best. Yeah, they probably made the right decision though. I'd get Lewis in the room regardless.
Fuck Lewis Hamilton.
So we're out on Lewis. Yeah. I've always been a Ferrari guy though, and I don't know, I guess I kind of have to root for him a little bit next year. But you know, in 2021, I was very big Max guy to beat Lewis, right? So it'd be weird for me to like root for Lewis against Max now, you know? So is that a podcast?
Good. I think it is.
I think it's a podcast. Shout out
Yeah.
Zach Brown. Zach Brown, CEO of McLaren. You're doing a great job, man.
And Jason Dominguez, the alien.
You're way better at the shout outs than I am. You always have a good one.
I honestly, as soon as you said we were going to bring up baseball, I was like, Jason Dominguez. He's
Jason
the guy.
Dominguez. We'll have more baseball to come, especially when the playoffs start. I can't fucking wait, especially with now that like my Eagles excitement has gone down 3% after last game. Like, just give me something else to focus on just a little bit. That's what I did right on Tuesday night. I watched the F1 race because I was like, can't do anything Eagles right now. But that's podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. What?
No, you're good. You're good.
What did I do?
I was just going to ask you if you just took another break from the Eagles.
No.
But we don't need to get into
I
it.
didn't. No. I bet they're going to win Sunday. I don't take breaks. All right, that's a podcast.
Peace.
Thanks, guys. Peace.